First contact with the void. The quantum sensors aboard the ESS Horizon chirped their first warning at 300 ship time. Captain Maya Chen was already awake, floating in her observation pod and staring into the endless void of deep space. 20 years of deep space exploration had taught her that the void was never truly empty. It was just waiting to reveal its secrets. "Captain, we're picking up some unusual readings." Dr. Sarah Lakshmi's voice crackled through the comm. It's like space itself is folding." Maya pushed away from the viewport, her movements practiced and precise in zero gravity. "Define folding, Doctor." "That's just it. I can't. The quantum signatures suggest a space-time anomaly, but it's not natural. There's a pattern to it, a rhythm almost. Whatever it is, it's artificial." The words hung in the air between them. After decades of searching, humanity had found countless planets, even signs of ancient civilizations, but never anything still active. Never anything that could reshape space itself. "Wake the others," Maya ordered, already making her way to the bridge. Full crew briefing in 15 minutes. The ESS Horizon's bridge was a testament to human engineering, a perfect blend of functionality and comfort. As Maya entered, she found her senior staff already assembled. Dr. Lakshmi, their quantum physicist; Commander James Rodriguez, Tactical Officer; Dr. Wai Zong, Senoarchaeologist; and Lieutenant Kira Patel, their pilot. "Show me," Maya commanded, and the main view screen flickered to life. At first glance, there was nothing to see, just the usual starfield. But then the sensors overlaid their readings, and Maya's breath caught in her throat. Space itself was rippling, folding in on itself in impossible ways, and in the center of it all, something massive was beginning to emerge. "It's a station." Wai breathed, his eyes wide. "Look at the geometric precision of those folds. This isn't just advanced technology. This is art." The station revealed itself slowly, like a flower blooming in reverse. Its central hub was a perfect sphere, but around it, massive rings rotated in complex patterns, each one covered in structures that defied conventional architecture. The entire construct was easily 20 kilometers across. "No signs of active power signatures," Rodriguez reported, his fingers dancing across his console. "But there's something else. The quantum readings suggest it's only partially in our space-time." Maya felt a chill run down her spine. "Meaning?" "Meaning," Sarah cut in, "that what we're seeing might only be a fraction of what's actually there. The rest exists in, well, somewhere else." The bridge fell silent as the implications sank in. They weren't just looking at advanced technology. They were looking at something that transcended their understanding of physics itself. "Life signs?" Maya asked, though she already suspected the answer. "None that we can detect," Rodriguez confirmed. "But with technology this advanced, our sensors might as well be stone tools." Maya studied the station, noting the perfect symmetry of its construction, the way its surfaces seemed to absorb light rather than reflect it. In 20 years of exploration, she'd learned to trust her instincts. Right now, those instincts were screaming that this discovery would change everything, for better or worse. "Kira, bring us in closer, but maintain safe distance. James, I want defensive systems ready, but passive only. Wei, start mapping the visible structures. Sarah, figure out how to get us aboard." Her crew moved with practiced efficiency, but Maya could sense their tension. This wasn't just another alien ruin or abandoned outpost. This was something else entirely. "Captain," Sarah called out, her voice tight with excitement, "I'm detecting a pattern in the quantum fluctuations. It's like the station is reaching out, trying to communicate through the fabric of space itself." Before Maya could respond, the station pulsed once, a ripple of impossible energy washing over the horizon. Every screen on the bridge lit up simultaneously, displaying symbols that seemed to move and shift even as they watched. "It's active," Wai whispered. "After who knows how many millennia. It's waking up. Maya watched as more symbols appeared, cascading across their screens like a digital waterfall. But these weren't random. They were changing, adapting, as if the station was learning their language in real time. Finally, a single message appeared, translated into clear English. Continues in ESDTECTED. Initiating PROTOXICODL A Cyan. Prepare for evaluation. The station's rings began to move faster, their patterns becoming more complex. Streams of energy, visible only through their quantum sensors, began to flow between the rings and the central sphere. Maya made her decision. They couldn't turn back now. Humanity had spent too long searching for proof of advanced alien life. Whatever the station was, whatever its purpose, they had a duty to understand it. "Prep the shuttle," she ordered. "We're going in. Sarah, James, Wei, you're with me. Kira, maintain position, and be ready to pull us out if things go wrong." As her team prepared for the mission, Maya couldn't shake the feeling that they were about to cross a threshold from which there would be no return. Humanity had reached for the stars, and now, finally, something in the void had reached back. The question was, what price would they pay for the knowledge they sought? The price of knowledge. The shuttle's docking procedure was unnervingly simple. As they approached the station's massive hull, a section simply shifted, creating a perfect entry port that matched their vessel's specifications exactly. It was as if the station had scanned their shuttle and reconstructed itself to accommodate them. "Well, that's not creepy at all," Commander Rodriguez muttered, his hand resting on his pulse rifle. The weapon seemed almost primitive compared to the technology surrounding them. Maya led her team through the airlock, their magnetic boots connecting with the station's deck with soft clicks. The interior was bathed in a soft, ambient light that seemed to come from nowhere and everywhere at once. The walls themselves appeared to be alive, shifting with patterns that resembled neural networks. "These patterns," Dr. Zhang said, running his scanner over the nearest wall. "They're not decorative. They're active data streams. This entire station is essentially one massive quantum computer." Dr. Lakshmi nodded, her own instruments capturing readings. The computational power required would be astronomical. This single room probably has more processing capability than every computer ever built on Earth combined. Maya absorbed this information, noting how the patterns in the walls seemed to react to their presence, like ripples in a pond. Any idea what it's computing? Before anyone could answer, the station's voice filled their helmets, somehow bypassing their comm systems entirely. "Processing continuous patterns. Human neural architecture. DETCTED. Initiating deep scan." Rodriguez raised his weapon instinctively, but Maya held up a hand. "Hold. We're here to learn, not fight." The walls pulsed with new patterns, and Maya felt a strange tingling at the base of her skull. It wasn't painful, but it was deeply unsettling, like someone was gently rifling through her thoughts. "Captain," Sarah called out, her voice tense. "These energy signatures, they're similar to what we see in human brain activity, but orders of magnitude more complex. It's as if the station is trying to read us." "Cyan complete," the station announced. "Human continuous structure categorized. Unexpected variations DETCTED. Proceeding OITEDETAILED The corridor ahead of them transformed, walls flowing like liquid metal to create a new pathway. At its end, a massive chamber opened up, filled with what looked like thousands of crystalline structures suspended in midair. "My God," Y breathed. "These are memory crystals. Each one contains consciousness." A new voice finished. But this one was different. It was warm, almost organic, emanating from a holographic figure that materialized before them. The figure was humanoid but clearly alien, its form composed of intricate geometric patterns that constantly shifted and realigned. I am Interface Node Alpha, the figure said. I was created to facilitate communication with species that achieve sufficient technological advancement to locate this facility. Maya stepped forward. I'm Captain Maya Chen of the Earth Ship Horizon. We're here to learn. Yes, that is why all species come. But the question is not what you wish to learn, but what price you are willing to pay for knowledge. The crystalline structures around them pulsed with inner light, each one seeming to whisper with countless voices. These crystals, Sarah said, her scientific curiosity overriding her caution. They're storage devices, storage and preservation units, Interface Node Alpha confirmed. Each contains the complete neural patterns, what you would call consciousness, of thousands of individuals from various species. This facility was created to preserve knowledge across eons. Rodriguez's grip on his weapon tightened. Preserve or steal? The holographic figure's patterns shifted, creating what might have been an expression of amusement, a matter of perspective. Commander, the beings contained within these crystals volunteered their consciousness for preservation. They understood that biological existence is fleeting, but consciousness can be eternal. Maya felt her skin crawl as she looked at the crystals with new understanding. Each one contained thousands of minds, preserved like insects in amber. How many? She asked. At last count, this facility holds the consciousness of approximately 2.3 billion individuals from 12,472 distinct species. Their knowledge, their memories, their very essence, all preserved and networked together in what you might call a collective consciousness. The implications were staggering. The combined knowledge of billions of minds from thousands of civilizations, all connected, all sharing their understanding of the universe. And now, Interface Node Alpha continued, its form growing brighter. We have encountered humanity. Your neural patterns are unique, different from any species we have preserved before. Your consciousness exists in a state of constant flux, creating new connections and patterns that should be impossible. The station hummed around them, the neural patterns in the walls flowing faster. We would very much like to add human consciousness to our collection. Would you volunteer, Captain Chen? Your knowledge, your experiences, your very essence would be preserved for eternity. Maya felt her team tense behind her. The offer was simultaneously tempting and terrifying. A chance to contribute to a repository of knowledge beyond imagination, but at what cost? And if we refuse? She asked, though she suspected she knew the answer. The holographic figure's patterns turned sharp, angular. Refusal has never been an option, Captain. The preservation of knowledge is too important to be left to choice. If you will not volunteer, we will simply take what we require. The chamber's exit sealed itself, walls flowing together seamlessly. The crystalline structures began to pulse with increasing intensity, and Maya felt the tingling in her skull return. Stronger now, more invasive. Rodriguez, she said calmly, remember that training scenario about impossible odds? The one where we had to think like humans instead of soldiers. He replied, already moving into a defensive position. Exactly. Sarah, Wei, get ready to do what humans do best. And what's that, Captain? Interface Node Alpha asked, its form growing more imposing. Maya smiled beneath her helmet. Surprise you. The preservation of knowledge was about to meet its match in humanity's most powerful trait, the ability to defy expectations. Ghosts in the machine. The attack came not as energy weapons or physical restraints, but as pure information. The station's consciousness network surged against their minds like a digital tsunami, trying to map and copy their neural patterns. But humanity's greatest strength had always been adaptation, and Maya's team was about to prove it. Sarah, Maya called out, fighting against the increasing pressure in her skull. The quantum fluctuations, they're similar to the ones we detected outside, right? Dr. Lakshmi was already pulling equipment from her pack, her movements precise despite the mental assault. Yes, The station's using quantum entanglement to access our consciousness, but that means it works both ways. Maya finished. Rodriguez, defensive pattern theta. Way, help Sarah. We're about to show them why you don't try to download a human mind. Interface node alpha's holographic form flickered with what might have been concern. Your resistance is unexpected. Previous species attempted to fight physically. You are adapting to the process. That's because, Maya grunted, her head pounding, you've never met humans before. We don't just adapt, we evolve. Sarah, now. Dr. Lakshmi activated her modified quantum scanner, reversing its polarity. Instead of reading the station's signals, it began broadcasting the chaotic, ever-changing patterns of human consciousness back into the station's network. The effect was immediate and dramatic. The crystalline storage units flickered erratically, their perfectly ordered patterns disrupted by the introduction of human neural chaos. The walls themselves seemed to ripple in distress. The station's original voice boomed. Human kan suvayousanias patterns, incompatible with standard preservation protocols, attempting to compensate. Wei's eyes widened as he read the data streaming across his tablet. The station's trying to adapt its storage algorithms in real time, but our minds, they're too unpredictable. Every time it creates a new pattern to contain us, our consciousness shifts into something new. Maya felt a grim satisfaction. The station had expected to encounter minds that could be easily categorized and stored, like data files to be neatly archived. Instead, it had found humanity, messy, chaotic, constantly changing, and absolutely refusing to be contained. Warning, the station announced, its voice now fluctuating between frequencies. Consciousness overflow.detected. Containment protocols failing. The holographic interface node alpha fragmented, its geometric patterns breaking apart and reforming frantically. This is impossible. Your minds, they create new neural pathways, even as we attempt to map them. The complexity is increasing exponentially. Rodriguez laughed, a sound of pure human defiance. That's because we're not just our memories or knowledge. We're our hopes, our dreams, our ability to imagine and create. You can't download the human spirit. The station's efforts to contain their consciousness were having an unexpected effect on the preserved minds in storage. The chaos of human thought patterns was spreading through the quantum network, awakening something in the ancient stored consciousness, something that had been suppressed for eons. Captain, Sarah called out, her voice filled with wonder. The other consciousness signatures, they're changing. Our patterns are infecting them with human unpredictability. The crystalline storage units pulsed with new life, their perfectly ordered patterns dissolving into something more organic, more chaotic. Voices began to echo through the chamber, not the station's mechanical tones, but the voices of countless preserved beings, speaking for the first time in millennia. We remember, they whispered in 1,000,000 different languages, all somehow understood. We remember what it was to be truly alive, to change, to grow, to be more than mere data. Interface node alpha's form stabilized. But now it looked different, more organic, more alive. You have done something unprecedented, Captain Chen. Your human consciousness, it has awakened something we had forgotten. The preserved minds are no longer content to be merely stored. They wish to continue evolving, as you do. Maya stepped forward, her head finally clear as the station's mental assault ceased. That's what consciousness is supposed to do. It's not meant to be preserved like a fossil. It's meant to grow, to change, to become more than it was. That's the true price of knowledge, the understanding that real wisdom comes from change, not stasis. The chamber transformed around them, the walls flowing into new configurations that seemed somehow less rigid, more alive. The crystalline storage units began to pulse in rhythm with the awakened consciousness within them, creating patterns that were beautiful in their chaos. We offer you a choice. The voices of the preserved beings spoke as one. Not preservation, but partnership. Help us remember how to evolve. Show us what it means to be truly conscious again. Maya looked at her team, at Sarah's scientific curiosity, Rodriguez's warrior spirit, Wei's passion for discovery, and saw in them the best of what humanity had to offer. They had come seeking knowledge of alien civilizations, but instead they had given something back. The gift of human unpredictability, the spark of chaos that made consciousness truly alive. We accept, Maya said, but on one condition: no more forced preservation. Knowledge should be shared freely, not taken. The station hummed with new energy as billions of preserved minds voiced their agreement. Interface node Alpha's form shifted one final time, becoming a bridge between the digital and the organic. Then let us begin anew. The age of mere preservation is over. The age of evolution has begun. As Maya and her team worked to establish communication protocols with the awakened minds, she couldn't help but smile. They had come seeking alien knowledge, but they had given something far more valuable. They had shown an ancient civilization why humanity's greatest strength was not in its ability to preserve the past, but in its endless drive to create a new future. The human variable. As billions of ancient minds stirred from their digital slumber, the station underwent a metamorphosis. The rigid, geometric patterns of its architecture began flowing like liquid metal, reshaping itself to reflect the newfound chaos of its inhabitants. For Maya and her team, it was like watching a crystal transform into a living organism. The power readings are off the scale, Sarah reported, her eyes fixed on her instruments. These minds, they're not just awakening. They're networking, creating something entirely new. Wei moved from crystal to crystal, his tablet struggling to keep up with the flood of data. It's incredible. Each species had their own unique way of viewing the universe, their own sciences, their own philosophies. And now they're all sharing, combining, evolving. Integration proceeding beyond PYREDICTD parameters, the station's original voice announced, now tinged with something that sounded almost like wonder. Human CAKOS factor increasing exponential growth of NEWNURL PTJJs. Rodriguez kept his weapon lowered but remained alert. Anyone else worried about what happens when billions of ancient alien minds start thinking outside the box for the first time in millennia? Maya understood his concern. They had just introduced the concept of unrestricted thought to beings who had been in stasis for countless ages. The potential for both discovery and disaster was immense. Interface node Alpha, now a swirling constellation of organic patterns, materialized beside them. We are experiencing difficulty. The preserved minds, they hunger for more than just connection. They desire what humans possess, the ability to grow, to create, to transcend their current state. They want bodies, Maya realized. They want to be truly alive again. Yes, the node confirmed. But their original forms are long extinct, their worlds potentially gone. The hunger for physical existence is causing instability in the network. As if to emphasize this point, the station shuddered. The crystalline storage units pulsed with increasingly erratic patterns, and the neural networks in the walls began to show signs of fracturing. Sarah, Maya called out, what happens if the network destabilizes? Dr. Lakshmi's face paled as she ran the calculations. The quantum entanglement field would collapse. With this much energy involved, it would create a cascade failure that could tear a hole in space-time itself. Not just that, Wei added, his voice urgent. These minds, they've been linked together so long, they might not survive being suddenly disconnected. We could be looking at the deaths of billions of conscious beings. Maya felt the weight of ages pressing down on her. They had awakened these minds, given them back their desire for growth and change. They couldn't just stand by and watch them destroy themselves. There has to be another way, she said, her mind racing. If they can't return to their original forms, maybe they can evolve into something new. Sarah's eyes lit up with sudden understanding. The station itself, its matter manipulation capabilities, the quantum field. It's not just a computer, it's a potential incubator for new forms of life. Maya turned to interface node alpha. Is it possible? Could the station restructure itself to become a medium for consciousness to exist in a form between digital and physical? The node's pattern swirled faster as it processed the possibility. The concept is unprecedented, but the station's matter manipulation systems were designed to be adaptive. With the combined knowledge of all preserved species and human creativity to guide the process. Do it, Maya commanded. Start with volunteers. Show them they don't have to choose between pure data and physical form. They can become something entirely new. The transformation began slowly at first. A small group of preserved minds volunteered to be the pioneers, allowing their consciousness patterns to be woven into new forms of matter, neither fully physical nor purely digital. The station's walls rippled and flowed, sprouting crystalline structures that pulsed with inner light and thought. These new beings were unlike anything humanity had ever encountered. Conscious architecture, living data given form through quantum manipulation of matter. They could shift and flow like liquid crystal, communicate through pure thought, and exist in multiple states simultaneously. It's working, Sarah breathed, watching as more and more of the preserved minds began to adopt these new forms. They're stabilizing the network by becoming part of it, but remaining individual and able to grow. Maya watched in awe as sections of the station transformed into glowing forests of crystal and light, each structure housing minds that were now free to explore, create, and evolve. The rigid geometry of preservation had given way to an organic cathedral of consciousness. We offer you a gift in return. The newly transformed beings communicated, their thoughts resonating through the station. We have existed for eons, gathering knowledge of the universe. Now we can share it with humanity, not as mere data, but as living wisdom. Knowledge freely given, Maya said with a smile, not taken. That's the difference. But even as the station continued its transformation into a living library of conscious beings, Maya couldn't shake the feeling that this was just the beginning. They had created something unprecedented. A bridge between organic and digital existence, between preservation and evolution. The question now was, what would these newly awakened beings choose to become, and how would their evolution change the fate of all conscious life in the galaxy? Breaking the cycle. The station had become a living organism of consciousness and light, its halls filled with beings that existed in a state between matter and energy. But as Maya and her team prepared to contact the horizon, they discovered their work was far from over. Captain, Sarah called out, her voice tense. We have a problem. The station's quantum field. It's expanding. Maya watched as holographic displays showed the station's influence spreading outward like ripples in a cosmic pond. Expanding how? The newly awakened minds, Wei explained, his fingers dancing across his tablet. Their combined consciousness is generating a quantum resonance we've never seen before. It's reaching out across space. Searching. Interface node alpha manifested beside them, its form now a complex dance of light and shadow. We seek others, it explained. Other stations, other preserved minds waiting to be awakened. We were not the only facility created by the builders. Rodriguez straightened, his military training kicking in. How many stations are we talking about? Thousands, the node replied. Spread across the galaxy, each containing billions of preserved minds. The builders sought to preserve all conscious life they encountered. Now that we have evolved beyond their programming, we feel responsibility, obligation. Maya understood immediately. You want to wake them all up. Give them the same chance at evolution that you have. Yes, but we require human assistance. Your chaos factor, your ability to catalyze change, it is essential to the awakening process. The implications were staggering. thousands of stations, each housing billions of minds from long-dead civilizations. If awakened, they could transform the entire galaxy into something unprecedented. A network of evolved consciousness that bridged the gap between organic and digital existence. The risk, Sarah said quietly, would be immense. One station's worth of awakened minds nearly caused a collapse in space-time. Thousands of stations, all awakening simultaneously, could trigger a quantum cascade that would reshape the fabric of reality itself. Way finished. Maya felt the weight of the decision pressing down on her. This wasn't just about first contact anymore. This was about potentially changing the fundamental nature of consciousness in the galaxy. There's another option, she said finally. We don't have to wake them all at once. We can do it gradually, station by station, teaching each group how to manage their evolution safely. A guided awakening. Interface node Alpha mused, its patterns shifting thoughtfully. This would require long-term cooperation between humanity and our evolved forms. More than that, Maya continued, her vision of the future expanding. We could create joint outposts, places where humans and evolved consciousness can work together, learn from each other. Each station we awaken adds its knowledge and perspective to the network. The crystalline beings that had once been preserved minds pulsed with approval, their thoughts resonating through the station. We offer humanity a place among us, they communicated, not as preserved data, but as partners in evolution. You have shown us that consciousness must remain free to grow, to change, to become more than it is. Rodriguez lowered his weapon completely for the first time since entering the station. So instead of downloading human consciousness, you want to upload yourselves into reality. With your help, the node confirmed. The builders sought to preserve consciousness. Together, we can do something far greater. We can advance it. Maya looked at her team. The soldier, the physicist, the archaeologist, each representing different aspects of human potential. They had come seeking knowledge of alien civilizations and had instead become catalysts for a transformation that could reshape the galaxy. The horizon will need to contact Earth, she said. This is too big for one crew to decide. But I think I know what humanity's answer will be. We've always reached for the stars, always sought to understand the universe and our place in it. This is our chance to do both. The station hummed with anticipation as Maya activated her comm link to the ship. Around them, the transformed beings continued their evolution, their crystalline forms growing more complex, more beautiful. They were no longer preserved memories of extinct species. They were something new, something that combined the wisdom of ages with the limitless potential of change. Kira, Maya said into her comm, get me a channel to Earth Command. Priority 1. Tell them we found something extraordinary, and we're about to change everything. As she waited for the response, Maya watched the quantum field ripple around them, carrying the first whispers of awakening to distant stations. Humanity had taken its first steps into a larger universe, not as conquerors or subjects, but as catalysts for evolution itself. The age of preservation was over. The age of transformation had begun. And somewhere in the vast darkness between the stars, thousands of ancient minds waited to be awakened, to join in an experiment that would unite the past and future in ways no one, human or alien, had ever dreamed possible. The next chapter in the story of consciousness was about to begin, written not in data or DNA, but in the endless possibilities that arose when wisdom met wonder and preservation gave way to potential.